think it's getting a little bit awkward. She invited us in, even though it is technically closed. The most beautifully tragic thing about them, chocolate, that's right. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and happy almost Valentine's Day. To celebrate love today, I decided to take you on a little stroll around the city. You know, just a friendly stroll with a friend, me, who knows all the cool love stories and who wants to share them with you. And I really hope that you're enjoying this love-filled season. I certainly am enjoying it so much. The weather is gorgeous today and it's a perfect time to walk around Florence. And before we begin, I remind you two important things, guys. First of all, to subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, of course, and also it is the last day to get my Florence travel guide with the special Valentine's Day discount, guys. So check the link in the description box, because by getting the guide you will get access, unlimited lifetime access to more than 150 things to do in this gorgeous city, and the digital map that you can use even offline, along with 4 custom itineraries for you. The best part of it all is that you can share it with one person, so if it's your special someone or a friend or relative, whoever you want to celebrate love today. And having said that, guys, let's go with me, let's walk around Florence. Yeah guys, let's cheer on and walk around Florence together. What is the main attribute of Valentine's Day, guys? Chocolate, that's right. Let's go. I feel like we need some today. I am already celebrating. Also, guys, story time. I think it's getting a little bit awkward. My obsession with chocolates. I love the Lindt chocolate, you know, I really do. And apparently, the guy working there recognized me today, not as a blogger, but as someone who went there last week. He was like, "Ciao, tutto bene oggi?" And I was like, "Yeah, thank you." And I think, I don't know, guys, should I worry about my, my love for the sweets and for chocolate? Because for now, I'm just enjoying it. Undoubtedly my favorite place for coffee with you guys. And I wanted to chat a little bit about the love stories today. And if you know me, you know that I absolutely love the history of the Medici family, and considering their impact on Florence in general, and how many years, the centuries that they've been living here. Of course, there are some beautiful and tragic love legends linked to the Medici family as well. And one of my favorite, probably, if you can say so, about a tragic love story is the story of Giuliana de' Medici and Simonetta Vespucci. By the way, if you didn't know, Simonetta was the muse of Botticelli, and she is that woman who is depicted on so many, almost every one of his artworks, and she has influenced the artist a lot, and she has influenced his art a lot. And yes, allegedly she was also the lover of Giuliano de' Medici, who was the younger brother of Lorenzo the Magnificent. And what I find the most beautifully tragic thing about them is that they actually died on the same day, 2 years apart. Giuliano died inside the Duomo of Florence on the 26th of April 1478 during the Pazzi conspiracy, when he was assassinated, and Simonetta died on the 26th of April 2 years before him. In case you didn't know, guys, the Pazzi conspiracy was the moment in history when there was some families, the Florentine families, united by the Pazzi family, another noble family of Florence, against the Medici family, and it was their attempt to kind of overthrow them. And it was an incredibly atrocious act, because they killed Giuliana de' Medici during the mass on a Sunday, and the whole family, the Medici family, was present there. They were all sitting there when they carried on with this conspiracy. He wanted to kill Lorenzo as well, but he managed to hide in the sacristy, so he was saved that day, but he lost his brother, and it was absolutely tragic. He, however, punished everyone who was involved, and this whole story, as well as the story of Giuliano and Simonetta, is actually beautifully depicted in my favorite TV series ever. I highly recommend you to watch it, guys. I just mean, it's a masterpiece. It's such an underrated masterpiece. But also, speaking of Simonetta and Botticelli, Botticelli was buried in the same church where Simonetta was buried before him, and there is this beautiful legend. It has like no real documents behind it, but there is this legend that Botticelli asked to be buried there, specifically to be buried at the feet of his beloved muse, of his of his inspiration. And even though there is no tomb of Simonetta left today, sadly, there is a tomb of Botticelli, and you can see it and visit it. I think there is no other more iconic love story in Florence than that of Dante and Beatrice, of course. And did you guys actually know that she is buried here in Florence, contrary to Dante, who is not buried here? And if you don't know where he is buried, I will leave you a link to my old vlog where I tell all about Dante and tour the city where his remains are located. But let's go and see if this church is open today. The church is located right in front of the house of Dante. That is actually a museum, and we can visit it today, which I think also makes sense, because of the 3 times that Dante has actually met Beatrice, one of the times was when she left this church, so hence it's called now the Church of Dante. It's like nicknamed the Church of Dante. But yeah, of course it was just a crush. It was not really a love story, but it was so poetic, and Dante was so inspired by this woman. So yeah, of course, guys, it's definitely made its way into history books as well. I need more fuel today. I'm actually trying to cut down on coffee and do not drink more than 1 or 2 cups of coffee per day now, or even go without coffee for a whole day. But yesterday I went to Bologna for work. I ended up not filming it because it was a very quick work trip, but I had a super early wake up, and even though I had a good night's sleep tonight, I still feel like needing a little bit extra coffee today. Anyway guys, I wanted to tell you one more story that I absolutely love, and it happened in Florence, of course. But first of all, did you actually know that in the 19th century, more than half of Florence population was made up of expats, and a huge part of those expats were British expats. And guys, one of them was Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and I bet you might have heard about her. She was a very famous poet of the Victorian era, but what strikes me the most about her life is her love story. I'm so in love with it. And she lived in Florence for 15 years. She actually died here and she's buried here as well. But I will start from the beginning if you haven't heard about her love story with Robert Browning, who ended up being her husband. Elizabeth was a very talented writer, poet, as I told you, but she had somewhat ill health, and back in the Victorian times it of course did not make her exactly the marriage material. Some accounts also say that she had a very strict father, almost tyrannical, and he did not help with her marriage prospects. That was back when she was still Elizabeth Barrett, and then she met Robert Browning, who was younger than her and was her fan, guys. So it was that kind of a love story. He started writing her letters, he was admiring her work, and then they both eventually fell in love. But her father would have never allowed such a marriage, and actually Robert's father was against this connection as well. So they get married in secret in London. And then Elizabeth went back home, stayed there for a week before they packed their luggages and moved to Florence. They basically eloped here. They spent the next 15 years living here in Florence, and Elizabeth's health improved. She continued writing. They even had a child, a son, while living here. But then after 15 years, sadly, she died, and she died in the arms of her husband, who left Florence with their child afterwards and has never ever returned here again, because I suppose he was too heartbroken to come here and, you know, relieve the city that he used to know, to experience with his beloved woman. But I think, guys, it's such a beautiful but also heartbreaking story, and you can visit the apartment where they used to live here in Florence. But pay attention to the time, the opening times, guys, because we had a near miss with it. Actually, it is open from April to November only. I didn't know it, so when we went there, it was closed. But luckily the lady who works there has just arrived there at the same time as we did, and seeing that we were there already, she invited us in nevertheless, even though it is technically closed. I was so happy. But also I feel like this is such an Italian thing, you know, guys. Italians are usually very kind and welcoming, and when they see that you're interested in something, you know, in a place or story, they will let you in, they will welcome you there. And I love this part about living in this country. I think, guys, that Florence is such a romantic city, and it will be hard to convince me otherwise. To me personally, it's the most romantic city. Just think of all the love stories that this city has seen in the past and also sees unfolding now, and I love it. I am in love with Florence, absolutely, and I really hope that you enjoyed walking around the city with me today and discovering all these love stories and, you know, just spending this beautiful February day with me. And I think it's time to say bye and to finish our vlog for today. So I once again remind you to subscribe to my channel and to check out the link in the description box where you'll find my Florence travel guide. I remind you that it is still discounted for another day, for the Valentine's Day. And thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy your day, guys, and happy Valentine's Day.